Coming up on Fulton Today, the new year begins with a new fee structure for those doing business at the courthouse. We'll explain the state-mandated change.
With the start of the 2020 census less than 100 days away, Fulton's census team highlights that time is running out for a complete and accurate count. I'm Brian Robinson, and I'll share how that message was emphasized.
And after being sworn in, the new Fulton County Marshal is ready to get to work. That and much more starts right now on Fulton Today. Welcome to Fulton Today, everybody, and Happy New Year. As state lawmakers prepare to head back to work under the Gold Dome next week for the 2020 session, it was a bill they passed last year that is changing the fee structure at the Fulton County Clerk of Superior and Magistrate Courts. So, what does this mean for those needing to do certain types of business at the courthouse? Joining us to answer that question is Keisha Johnson, Chief Deputy Clerk. Thanks so much for joining us.
Hi, Shania. Thanks for having me.
All right, so let's give some background. Talk about that bill that passed in last year's Georgia General Assembly and how it institutes what is called a flat filing fee structure.
House Bill 288 was passed in 2019 in the Legislative Assembly. This bill addresses flat filing fees for real estate recording documents. The flat filing fee is instituted by the language in the Georgia Code, which allows us to process documents a lot quicker, as well as give the customer a predictable filing fee.
And can you share some of the most noticeable fee differences from last year?
The most noticeable fee differences are related to the real estate recording documents. Real estate recording documents, such as mortgages and deeds, all have a predictable or flat filing fee of $25, which in the previous year, these fees were varied and not streamlined like they are throughout this HB 288 bill.
And I understand those new rates are now in effect, even if someone mailed in a payment before the end of 2019?
Well, actually, no. The flat filing fees are effective January 1st, 2020. Any documents received within 2019 will be processed utilizing the existing fee schedule.
And any final thoughts you want to share?
Absolutely. This is an excellent opportunity for our office to provide more efficient service to our customers. There's also benefit to our customers knowing what their real estate recording fees are prior to submitting them to us for processing. This makes our process much more quicker and us to expedite the return of documents to our customers after filing.
All right, Ms. Johnson, great information. Thank you again for joining us right here on Fulton Today.
Thanks again for having me.
Now, to see a full list of the new fee structure, you can log on to fultonclerk.org. Another order of business for the clerk's office is the annual Georgia Bar Mass Induction Ceremony. The event at Fulton's Assembly Hall officially swears in the newest members of the State Bar. Fulton County Superior Court Judge Rebecca Ryder administered the oath of office to the 70 men and women who were either first-time lawyers or relocated from another state.
Honesty, civility, respect, courtesy. Don't take on the client's animus. Let the client take on your higher level of honesty, civility, respect, and courtesy. Be the leader of professional conduct.
The new attorneys were thankful to see this day finally arrive after years of sacrifice, blood, sweat, and tears.
Well, it's the start of something new in life. Starting to meet the community that you're going to be involved with for a long time. I've actually been an attorney for 5 years in Tennessee, so I look at this as looking back on my induction through this lens. It's kind of fun because you see all the different years of practicing attorneys come together and celebrate something new, the start of something, and the celebration of an accomplishment.
It meant a lot. It's been 3 years, well 4 years for me because I did a pair of graduate degrees simultaneously, but 4 years of studying. I came to law school with the hope that it would let me do something that I could not do on my own for others, and I officially get to do that now.
The clerk's staff hosts the mass induction ceremony so that the new attorneys can share the joy of passing the Georgia bar with their colleagues and family. Members of Fulton's law enforcement and justice community come together to congratulate the new Fulton County Marshal.
United States of America. So help me God. So help me God. Congratulations.
Maria McKee was officially sworn in just before the end of the year at the Fulton County Courthouse. Outgoing Marshal Antonio Johnson, Sheriff Ted Jackson, and Chief Magistrate Judge Cassandra Kirk were among the distinguished guests who congratulated the first new Marshal in over a decade.
I am just so humbly honored to take this position. I look forward to serving the citizens to the very best of my understanding. As I said earlier, with respect, dignity, and humility. And I just want the continued support that I've received throughout the years.
Similar to her predecessor, Marshal McKee started her law enforcement career with the Fulton County Sheriff's Office back in 1988. She says her goals include maintaining the department's accreditation, continuing the junior deputy program, and strengthening the relationship between youth and law enforcement. Meanwhile, the justice community also says thank you and goodbye to a long-time serving judge. It was a packed house of well-wishers at the retirement party for juvenile court presiding judge Bradley Boyd. The former chief juvenile court judge is hanging up his robe after nearly 50 years of public service.
The retirement is, you think about it, and then when it creeps right up and is looking you in the face, it gets kind of difficult. And I'm looking forward to some of the changes and some of the things I can do in retirement, but at the same time, the real tough part for all these people here that have meant so much to me and have been part of my life for so long, it's really hard to say goodbye. And I'm going to be moving out of state, so that makes it a little tough. But a lot of folks here have promised me that they're going to come by and visit.
Family and friends listened as colleagues shared their favorite Judge Boyd stories while they spoke. A slideshow containing candid moments of the retired judge played in the background.
It was your statements that I stood on when I testified before the Georgia legislature that said that if any judge, especially the judges of Fulton County Juvenile Court, held a child that was a victim, it was indeed for their own safety. And it was your remarks and your leadership that challenged the prosecuting attorney's counsel and challenged them to then find different ways that we could place those children into care as soon as possible.
Judge Boyd was appointed to the bench in 2006. His long list of accomplishments includes overseeing his favorite National Adoption Day program. Last year, the judge received the Judge Willie L. Lovett Jr. Award for advancing juvenile law. We will absolutely miss the judge, and we wish him well on his retirement. Fulton Census 2020 Complete Count Committee continues to address the need for all residents to be counted in this year's census. To emphasize the importance and the amount of dollars that are on the line, the team unveiled an innovative idea to show that the clock is literally ticking down to the April 1st event. FGTV's Brian Robinson joins us now to explain. Brian?
Shania, it's the proverbial clock, if you will, but the countdown is real because millions, if not billions, of federal dollars are on the line.
It's important for us in the city of Atlanta. It's important for us in the other 14 cities, and therefore important to every citizen in Fulton County.
Before kicking off the now less than 100 days until the 2020 census campaign, Fulton's chairman stressed the importance of every resident's participation in this year's count. Similar messages will continue to be delivered as time counts down to the April 1st participation date.
It boils down to two things. If we count every possible person within Fulton County, that could mean and will mean additional dollars for programs that we provide our citizens. And number two, an additional congressional seat. Both are extremely important for us.
More than $675 billion will be allocated to state and local governments across the nation annually in direct correlation to the data that is submitted. In the 2010 census, Fulton County lost $3.2 billion because of a 25% undercount. County leaders are looking to avoid a repeat of that scenario.
This is the data set that's used to set congressional districts. This is the data set that the school boards rely on. Even our corporate partners and businesses. When you want a nice restaurant in your community, part of that restaurant corporation determining where they're going to locate is based on census data and numbers. So if we're undercounting ourselves, a lot of the times we don't get the nice things in our communities that we would like to see, and we're left scratching our heads wondering why we don't see certain things in our communities.
Fulton's Complete Count Committee say they have discovered that nearly 1/3 of county residents live in areas where households traditionally do not participate in the census without support or encouragement. 1 million children between the ages of 0 and 4 years old were also undercounted. If that happens again, their academic future could be in jeopardy.
The census determines the amount of federal funds that government and school systems receive each year for school buildings, operations, technology, and programs that meet the child well-being needs of students.
Technology will play a major role in preventing an undercount. The 2020 census marks the first time residents can participate online. Fulton's intergovernmental and interagency team understands not everyone has internet access.
So we do know that about 20% of our population does not have adequate broadband access, and so the county is stepping in to ensure that persons who may need to come and complete that form online can in fact do so, and we'll have personnel there to help them and to answer any questions they may have.
There is no question that Fulton's Complete Count Committee is aiming for the county's fair share of federal funding. Now, Fulton's Complete Count Census Committee is also urging residents to form their own count committees in their local neighborhoods. The team is also hosting lunch and learns and civic dinners to spread the importance of census participation. Reporting for FGTV, I'm Brian Robinson.
Thank you, Brian. And still to come, how commissioners shared holiday cheer to kids and seniors. It's a part of our district-by-district coverage next. Fulton seniors begin a new year with much gratitude thanks to Fulton police and local businesses. And we look back at the love shown over the holidays to children of incarcerated men. Here's this week's district-by-district coverage. We began with Chairman Rob Pitts, who takes his campaign against the HIV and AIDS epidemic to the church house. The at-large commissioner and the Fulton Board of Health dispatched the county's mobile unit to the Enid Baptist Church in the city of South Fulton on the final Sunday of the year. Churchgoers and nearby residents were invited to get tested to know their status in 2020.
It is an undeniable fact that the city of Atlanta, Fulton County, our sister cities and sister counties, we are the hotbed in the world for HIV/AIDS. And we're using every possible means to get the word out to the affected community. And the affected community is the black community.
The mobile unit was available before, during, and after church service. And just before the year ended, Chairman Pitts partnered with a number of local pastors who agreed to help get the word out about the county's dubious distinction when it comes to HIV and AIDS. Fulton County ranks 6th highest for new HIV diagnoses among all counties in the U.S. District 1 Commissioner Liz Hausman gets emotional witnessing the generosity of the Fulton County Police Department. During the holiday season, officers came together to provide a little cheer to seniors. In partnership with the Senior Services North Fulton, the American Cookie Company, and other businesses, seniors were granted a holiday surprise.
We took up a small donation as our department just to provide some fuzzy socks and some good cookies. We also have some other things like some non-sugar treats and just some board games, and we decided to do that for our citizens and just give us a little way to give back.
And I have to tell you, it really warms my heart to hear them talk about how much it means to them to give back. And their public service and their dedication to the citizens of Fulton County is shown right here today in this display of gifts for our seniors. So I'm really proud, really proud.
Now, in partnership with Meals on Wheels, the Senior Services North Fulton organization made sure the deliveries made it to the seniors' residences and senior centers.
We're excited to be a part of this holiday excitement and holiday gratitude and holiday generosity. So thank you, everybody who contributed to this.
And of course, the seniors were happy that someone thought of them during the holidays when they did not have to.
Oh, I thought it was so wonderful that they thought of us seniors to bring gifts so that we could rejoice during the holidays. We appreciated the socks and the cookies and the hugs and the smiles.
Senior Services North Fulton provides support for seniors to enhance their quality of life and their independence. District 5 Commissioner Marvin Arrington Jr. once again made the season bright for children of men incarcerated at the Fulton County Jail. The commissioner, in partnership with the Fulton County Sheriff's Office and other community partners, collected toys for his annual Dads, Daughters, and Dolls Plus Sons drive.
It has been a tremendous response. We're just so thankful for everyone. It's our annual drive where we make sure that the children of inmates in Fulton County Jail have a wonderful Christmas.
At the gift wrapping event, the children were allowed to pick what they wanted from the rows and rows of toys. One of the community partners is also the founder of the event.
After spending 6.5 years in prison, I saw how difficult this time of the year was for others. And I made a promise that if I ever got free, and then two, if I ever got the opportunity, I would do something to help relieve somebody and help make a difference in a child's life when their parent is not there to provide them a gift.
In addition to the toys, the children received handwritten letters from their fathers. And finally, District 6 Commissioner Joe Karn wrapped up his inaugural town hall meetings at the Enon Baptist Church. The new commissioner focused on a series of issues that will play a huge role in the lives of residents during this year. Residents learned about District 6 priorities, funding of Fulton County programs and services in the 2020 budget.
We're glad for the wonderful turnout in District 6. We're looking forward to good things for 2020. Our budget enhancements, we want to include as many as possible in terms of senior services, in terms of fully funding our census complete count committee. We do need more funding for that. It's important that we count every single citizen. There's a lot of money on the line, and we don't want to leave any money on the table.
Fulton's representatives shared information on the 2020 census. Residents also got to view and practice on the new voting machines to be rolled out for the 2020 presidential primary election. And still to come on Fulton Today, more details about the county's plan to end all new cases of HIV and AIDS by the close of this decade. Stay with us, everyone. Fulton's Justice Partners applaud the newest group to complete the Magistrate Court Mental Health Court program. These Fulton residents successfully completed the Accountability Court program designed for those with a misdemeanor arrest and a mental health condition.
It has given me major resources to have better control over my life as far as with my mental health. And in giving me those resources, I've been able to get medication I need, support groups. Someone's always there, so I feel like they gave me major support, but also the medical health care that I needed as well.
It showed me that I'm a captain of my own ship, and my decision is lifetime decisions, future decisions. A small mistake can cause permanent damage, and it taught me structure.
Justice Partners say this one program can truly save lives.
This is our 7th graduation for the Misdemeanor Mental Health Court. I can tell you how incredibly excited I am. As with all our graduates, today we had 3 gentlemen who were able to graduate. 2 of them were placed on a diversionary track, which means these records will not only be dismissed, they will also go ahead and be restricted. The other gentleman here came through state court on a different track, but his record also will be null pros today. So we have an opportunity for at least 3 more fully participating citizens, and so we are really excited.
The program is a partnership between state and magistrate courts and the Department of Behavioral Health and Developmental Disabilities. Congratulations to them. Well, last week we shared with you what Fulton County and its Department of HIV elimination plan to do this year to reach its goal of ending all new cases of HIV and AIDS by 2030. Well, there was so much to unpack in that discussion that we wanted to hear more from its director, Jeff Cheek. Jeff, welcome back to Fulton Today.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
All right, so let's get into this. Last week you shared with us about the Ryan White program for 2020, but you were about to tell us about primary care specifically.
One of the main things that we focus on is primary care. But we also know that to get someone into primary care, we've got to deal with all of the other issues that they're dealing with also. So we're putting in additional money for mental health services and substance abuse services and oral health services, but also for those support services that help people get into care and stay in care.
Yes, like I think you mentioned, medical transportation and meals. So next, you've heard from the public about their needs. What exactly did you learn?
So we talked to the community through a whole series of community engagement sessions to find out what it is that would make it easier for people to get in care and stay in care. One of the first things they talked to us about was that there are challenges enrolling in our program, that there's a lot of paper documentation that's got to be provided, and it's got to be provided at every different service provider you go to. So one of the things we're going to be working on is a centralized data portal, which will allow one agency to collect your information and share that with all the others so that it's going to be easier for clients to get into care.
And Jeff, I'm sure that's not all you heard. What else?
One of the other things that we heard was there needs to be an easy way between when someone gets tested and how we get them linked into care. And we need to make sure that there are a number of linkage coordinators and that they all have the same type of information available. So we're going to be funding a centralized linkage system that every organization can use. We're going to have about 30 new people, and there are going to be people living with HIV disease or people that are community health workers. And the goal is to have them available 24/7. So if someone gets tested on a Friday night, we can get them connected into care on a Friday night. We don't have to say, come back next week. So that's one of the exciting things we're going to be doing.
And finally, Jeff, I understand that you are asked a lot about housing. What can you tell us?
The City of Atlanta has a program called HOPWA, which focuses on housing opportunities for persons with HIV. But there are a lot of governmental restrictions on how those monies are used. So we're going to contribute some money to that program to make it easier for people to get into care, to cover those things that are needed, and they won't have to have jump through so many hoops to be able to do that.
Well, that is wonderful news. I see why we had to have another conversation with you. There is a lot going on in your department this year. Jeff Cheek, Director of the HIV Elimination Department, always good to see you, sir. Thanks again for your time.
Well, thank you so much. And if anybody out there needs additional information, they can go to our website, ryanwhiteatl.org.
And up next on Fulton Today, a sneak peek inside the Central Library as a major renovation project continues. Stay with us. Well, this new year means we are closer to the reopening of the Central Library. Library leaders and staff were invited to take a tour of the facility to see the renovation progress. The library has been closed since July 2018 and is expected to reopen this fall. When it does, patrons will be able to enjoy new convention and meeting areas, an atrium, additional windows for more lighting, and so much more.
The level of excitement is very high. I think people are anticipating what the outcome is going to be for the library. We're excited internally within Fulton County. The business community is excited. So we're excited when it finally opens.
The Central Library renovations are scheduled to be completed by the summer, thus signaling the end of the library renovation project. Another piece of good news, the popular Library on the Lawn program will continue after the Central Library reopens. During its closure, library officials have been providing residents access to laptops and internets so that they could still handle their online business. The Central Library, which is also headquarters for the Fulton County Library System, first opened its doors in May of 1980. The Adams Park Library is reopened after its renovations are now complete. District 4 Commissioner Natalie Hall, county leaders, and library patrons all stood side by side during a ribbon-cutting ceremony to celebrate the joyous occasion. Located on Campbellton Road in southwest Atlanta, the newly renovated facility has state-of-the-art upgrades and a bunch of history.
This library is very important to this community, and it was named after one of our own commissioners, Commissioner Charles R. Adams.
From new shelving and furniture to loads of technology, the renovated branch is now the gathering place for the community.
What you've done is near to miraculous. You've brought this community forward. And I have to say to our commissioner and to the councilwoman, thank you for including the history.
The library sits on the 18th hole of the Alfred Tupp Holmes Golf Course. Its namesake, Charles R. Adams, served as a Fulton County Commissioner from 1935 until 1942. Great gathering space. And before we go, our reminder that FGTV wants to connect with you online. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for up-to-date Fulton County news. And you can also watch a replay of this show and any other FGTV program anytime on our YouTube channel, so do us a favor and subscribe. Well, that does it for this edition of Fulton Today. Thanks so much for watching. Join us each week for news around and about Fulton County.